What it is, guys, it is your girl Cadillac, and thank you once again for riding with your girl. It is really late, but I know I had to come in and give you guys something because I don't want to, keep you hanging, want you to keep riding with me. So, gotta come with the content. So, the reason that I am coming to you today is because I wanted to introduce another side of me. Yes, I do way too goddamn much. So I was talking to Marcello today, and he is like really on me about trying to finish some of these things that I've started. I've started a million and one projects, and some of them I get done to completion. Some just, stay out there with their straggly ends and never tied up. And this is one of those projects. And I told you 2021 for me is going to be about finishing what I started. And yes, Marcello reminds me every day you started a whole bunch of projects and ain't finished them. So around this time last year, well, a little bit after it, I started writing my autobiography. I got 2 chapters in and I kind of just stopped. Like I was getting good response. People say they like my writing skills. And I kind of just I fell into the YouTube thing, the trying to get the channel to move. And I kind of, let this fall by the wayside. So I'm going to show you where you can find my work, and I'm going to be adding to it because I'm going to start writing some more books and putting more books and stuff out there. Right now, this is where you can find me, but I feel like it's going to get bigger than this. We're trying to get published. So right now, you can find my literary work on Wattpad. So if you go to Wattpad, I'm going to have the link in the description box to my Wattpad. When you come, you see me with my little profile picture. I keep that unison except for my Facebook. My Facebook profile does have another picture. That's me and Marcello. But everywhere else, you're going to find me with my profile pic. And these are my branding colors that I have for right now. This fuchsia, I'm more of a green, bright green person. But, I love this fuchsia too. Okay, so when you first come, you're going to see my banner. I have 2 different works right now. I have 2 that are on my Wattpad, that's published on my Wattpad. And I'm going to show you the first one. My first work is called Prison Wife Chronicles. Okay, so you see the cover. That should be really familiar, because that is the image that is from the magazine that I'm working on. Yeah, it's kind of all like, but we're going to change that because that's not even a book cover. But I needed something, I didn't design a book cover for this yet. So I needed something to put in the place of it but that's still eye catching and could be something that would bring readers in to, read my story. And then the second one that I have is I'ma Hold You Down. This I'ma Hold You Down is actually, it has a video and it's a story. And it's kind of the story of Marcello and how we had my daughter. We were the picture perfect family. Then he got in trouble, and then it was, this life from there on out. And this is like a illustration of it. I'll do that in a second video. But the reason I illustrated that one and went for like a childlike look was because Marcello's case is very complex. When I used to try to tell the story of what happened to him and why I feel like he's been wrongfully convicted, it is so many ins and out. Like I can't just tell you a quick description and you understand. Like it is so many different things. And I feel like if I don't tell you each and every piece, you won't understand fully as to why he's wrongfully convicted and why the 40 years is too much. So when this first happened, I used to ramble off the whole story. But back then, I really did not know that nobody's going to listen to that whole long story. And for a while, I guess that's why I didn't get any response, because nobody wanted to hear that long. Like people, as I'm telling it, I could see them falling asleep. Like for real. So I wanted to illustrate it so that it could be so like clear that what happened. So I started illustrating the frames of what happened in this case. Of course, never finished that either. But I got enough to make a little music video, and I did animate that music video. Hold You Down. Okay, so those are my two works that I currently have on there. So if you click on Prison Wife Chronicles, click on the title, then you would see it shows you the cover, and then I have a short synopsis of it. So click on read. When you click on read, then you're gonna get to my it's kind of like a hook. It's what pulls you into reading a story. So I have a hook. I think I love this hook. I'm gonna read it. I wrote it. Y'all. Are you ready for the ride of your life? Yeah, I wasn't either. But there is no time to wait around in life. Come on and take a walk in my shoes. Come walk down my block and see how I live. Who am I? I'm a prison wife. Yeah, I'm doing time, but I surely didn't do the crime. When love's involved, the shades of black and white begin to turn gray. More complicated than should I leave or should I go? Sometimes it is way more difficult when you decide to stay. Yes, and it was difficult. A lot of people, when people catch the type of time that Marcello have, they significant others, they buck. They try to hold it down for a little bit, but as long as I've been there, it's not a lot. It's not a lot of them that hang in that long. So I know I'm a rider. I'm a rider, and it was very difficult to stay. Very difficult, but I did it. And then you see my keywords there. Those are the keywords for my story. Table of contents. So I wrote 2 chapters in this Prison Wife Chronicles. I did get to chapter 2 and then I kind of just fell off. So last year I did present you with chapter 1. So you see Prison Wife Chronicles part 1 is She's Scarface. I do have that as a video, but guess what? That was almost a year ago. So I have a lot more subscribers than I had last year. I actually lost most of the ones I had last year, which per Sean Kennel courses, that's the best. It doesn't matter if they leave. That means that they weren't there for the content that you're putting out. So it's better that they leave. So I got new subscribers that are here for this prison wife life journey, and I'm growing from there. So at first it was upsetting to see every time I upload people leave, but now I see, I got the riders with me now. The guys riding with Cadillac. Okay, so let's go into reading the story. She's Scarface. I guess my life coming full circle is what is prompting me to start this book. But I think someone somewhere could benefit from the mess I've been through. Forgive me if it seems like I'm skipping around a bit. As old as I am, it's hard to keep a timeline completely consistent with the exact times of the events. I will try my best though, because each part is an intricate piece of me. The journey I've been on as a prison wife has definitely been a long, intensive one. But it is also a journey that through trying to find freedom for my loved one, I'm finding freedom for myself. We met in 1999. Man, it's been so long ago that I can't even remember what month. But I do remember it was during the summer. I had just broken up with someone prior. I convinced myself that that was the last time that I would give any piece of my heart to another being and allow them to do with it what they pleased. I was now a self-proclaimed player. No, not the sense of player that you know. I just love to go out to eat, go on dates, go dancing, have all the fun parts of a relationship, but none of that extra complicated stuff. Your girl was cute back then, too. Most definitely couldn't nobody tell me nothing. The beauty on the exterior was not exactly what made me that diamond in the rough. It was my personality. I was fun to be around back then. I treated everyone as equals, and though I really looked good, there was no ego involved. I could just tell you that it was because of this great upbringing that I had that I was just raised to see the best in people. Actually, that would be true. But the real reason that I maintained and kept such a level head is because in the beginning of middle school, I was bullied. I grew up as a complete tomboy. I always wanted to show that I was just as strong, could jump just as high, and just as fast as all the boys. Back then, I was a skateboarder. Unable to get a skateboard at the time, I decided to make one myself using a pair of old roller skates and a wagon. I tied and secured the roller skates to the bottom of the wagon. Yeah, genius idea, right? I told my little sister, jump aboard. Come on, Chris, this is going to be fun. Chris jumped on top of the concocted skateboard and I began to push. Yay! Hey, Chris, isn't this fun? All of a sudden, joy and laughter came to an abrupt halt. The wheel of the skateboard had got stuck in the crack in the sidewalk. The skateboard stopped immediately, and I went flying top speed over Chris's head, straight for the sidewalk. It was almost as though my face was going for a home run in across the concrete. After my fall, I jumped up and looked at Chris, and she began to laugh hysterically. Hey, what's going on? Why are you laughing? What's going on? I went inside the house. I looked in the bathroom mirror and realized I had scraped the whole left side of my face down to the white meat. Accompanying this face fillet was large scratches across my chest area and left hand, and I also chipped my front tooth. I couldn't believe it. I looked like a freaking monster. I returned to school with band-aids across my face. When I could no longer wear the band-aids, I would just sit in class and cover my face with my hands. The freaking teacher actually thought that I was being abused. She came to me and was like, you can let us know if something is going on at home. I told her, no, nothing's going on. I just fell off my homemade skateboard. She didn't believe me, I could tell. I guess black people skateboarding was unheard of. Crazy. Sixth grade has started out perfect. A new school, and now it all changed within an instant. Kids at the bus stop officially named me Scarface. All middle school included of rejection, isolation, loneliness, and depression. I remember one time a guy that didn't usually ride our bus rode that day. He proceeded to sit right next to me. That was so unusual because I always was the one by herself. I would try to curl myself up as tight as I could into a ball inside my jacket and hope that I would just disappear. Out of the blue, there's a scream, "Hey, don't sit there." The guy was like, "Why? Why can't I sit here?" One of my taunters said, "That's Scarface." He was like, "Well, isn't she still a female?" The taunter replied, "No, she's Scarface." That's the end of chapter 1. So today I'm going to continue and put chapter 2 in for you. Chapter 1 was available for the last year. So we click on continue. Then we have chapter 2, which is, hey, cut me some slack. I just found out I'm black. Okay, here's part 2. I guess to understand me as an individual, I feel the need to rewind to the beginning. I am a firstborn to my mother, a city girl from the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. She grew up in a rough neighborhood on the city's west side. I'm second born to my father, which I find that out a little bit later, a construction worker from Lexington, Mississippi. Dad was a country boy that headed out for the big city in search of a new life far from his humble beginnings. Mom and Dad met at his sister's restaurant. Best home cooking you'll ever find in life. From the story my dear mother told me, they basically met and my dad was like, hey, let's get married. My mother at 17 wanting to leave the confines of her mother's house said, okay. 1 year later, here I come. Looking at old photos, I was a cutie. I had the chubbiest cheeks you'd ever seen. My jaw stayed red from the constant pinching. I was told stories about how the struggle was back then, living in a one room apartment, not one bedroom, one room. Dad, being an amazing construction worker that he was, he got the opportunity to travel to the newly emerging state of Florida. Soon after, they packed up the family and was on their way to the Sunshine State. He moved along with his brother to Marco Island and later Sarasota. From the ghetto to living on the beach. Me and Mom used to feed the birds bread and collect seashells that later we glued on a tin can, and after that, Dad made it into a lamp. Not too long after that, we moved to Oak Ridge, and finally, where we are now, Orlando. I think I was almost 5 or 6 when they told me my sister's coming to live with us. I thought Mom was saying she was pregnant. I didn't know I had a ready-made sister that was 4 years and something odd months older than me. Back in the 80s, Orlando was not this melting pot of culture like it is today. Orlando was predominantly white. I went to elementary. Right around town was the lake we passed on our way to school, was the one that they used to drown in. Not that I even knew anything about race at that point in time. Funny thing, I didn't even know I was black. Yeah, my golden sun-kissed self didn't know I was black. You know how I found out I was black? The kids at school told me so. There were only 3 black kids in the whole school. Myself, my cousin, and a boy named Michael. Anyhow, I was at school at recess, and a little girl called me Black Girl. I ran home and told my mom, Mom, this girl at school called me black. She said, Keita, you are black. I said, nuh-uh, I'm brown, and you're yellow, and they are pink. She said, no, Keita, you are black. During Black History Month, I was the resident black person. They would look at me like, did that really happen? As if some sort of cosmic way I would know what happened way back when. As I can recall, Mom wasn't too good at doing hair. I wore half comb pigtails until her friend from Chicago, Gwen, came to live with us. Gwen French braided my hair. Mom called cornrows French braid. Yeah, that's a Chicago thing. The kids at school didn't understand my hair and they made fun of it. They would call them snakes, or they would say my hair was so amazing, like a maze you're trying to get through. They didn't understand my hair. Heck, I didn't even understand it. Hey, I just found out I was black. Work with me, please. Yes. First 2 chapters. Please let me know how you feel about this. Is it going good? Does it sound good? Just talking about my upbringing. I am a very collective person. Like I said, we came from a rough part in Chicago, and then we moved here to Orlando. It was like it wasn't culture shock to me because I was so young. And I basically grew up being one of the only black people that I knew. And it was crazy. We listened to rock and roll music. There was no urban channels, so I was into rock and roll music. That's all I think the only black artist that we heard may have been Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson later. And we weren't really exposed to R&B music or anything. So it wasn't until middle school when I went to an all black school. And that was a shock for me because I wasn't used to being around all black people. So it was crazy because kind of I fit in when I was at the all white school, but I was made to know I was different. But it wasn't any racism or nothing. We heard about it and stuff like that, but it wasn't just there. Or maybe it was there and we didn't know. I don't know. But kids, if you don't introduce all that to them, they usually will play and get along with everybody until you tell them, hey, you're not supposed to be around that person. Hey, that's when kids start developing that. But naturally, we don't do that. everybody gets along with everybody. So they did point out that I was different, but we still got along and stuff. But when I went to middle school, I didn't fit in because I don't know, they I guess I wasn't quite black enough, which makes no sense. Like, I don't understand, how do you be black? I don't get that. So I wasn't, so that's where that came from. So I was kind of like an outcast. I stayed by, and then what made it so bad, because when I went to middle school, I thought, this is my new start. I'm not the only black kid and stuff like that. So I'm going to be in a school where it's kids just like me. And right after school started, I got into this skateboarding accident and I completely messed myself up. And that's when kids started making fun of me. And they shunned me, they outcasted me, they threw rocks at me. It was crazy. I went through depression. I used to stay locked up in my room. Like, I couldn't wait till summertime when I didn't have to go to school. Like, honestly, it was horrible. It was bad. Um, Bad thoughts used to pass my mind. Like, bad thoughts. Thank God I never acted on any of those thoughts. But yeah, kids can go through depression. I was a depressed child, and somebody clearly should have made sure I was okay. But thank God I did get past that. But yeah, so that's gonna set the foundation of why I'm a loner. It really does, because when you're kind of outcasted as a kid, when kids feel like they should be accepted no matter what. But at that stage when you just can never just fit, you can't fit in even if you wanted to fit in. Like, I used to want to fit in so bad and I couldn't. But that's where I'm trying to set that foundation. Um yeah, so I do tell a lot of this story too in my drama life. I see y'all are not really checking that out. Y'all know I drew frame for frame of that, and I spent a long time. So I encourage you, please check out my Drama Life series. I'll link some of those in the description. I do tell the same story. It's just a different way that I tell it. This one, I'm trying to tell it as though it is an autobiography. The other one, I'm just kind of showing you the frames and telling you the story. So, yeah, it was a lot. So I do have, following the trend of how I have been closing out my videos, I actually did write a song about this too. So I'm gonna go into that. This was one of my first songs that I wrote, and it's called Struggle Just to Make It. All right. This song tells the story of us, like how my family that originated in Chicago ended up in Florida. And it just tells the struggle of life, and you got to struggle to make it. You got to go through some type of struggle to actually get to what you would consider, quote unquote, making it. And boy, have I been through a struggle. My parents been through struggles. My dad came from Mississippi. He always tells us about how he used to drive the school buses when he was 15 years old. Yes, he used to drive the school buses. But look where he got. He didn't even finish high school. But my dad is an awesome construction worker. He actually been on, what's that show? What's the name of that show? Extreme Home Makeover. My dad and my uncle, rest in peace. Oh, my uncle was so amazing. He was an inventor. He was a construction worker. He had so many great ideas, inventions, and everything. Yes, that's the Dixon legacy. Dixons are very creative. And yeah, so they were awesome. So they were so great that they wanted them to come from Chicago to down here and help build up Florida. So here's the song. Struggle just to make it. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all that darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all that darkness behind you, 'cause when the way is clear, you can breathe again. Ma, you was only 17 years old when you say you take my dad to heaven. Ho, just 1 year later, still not that old. A little baby girl named Keto was born, living on the west side of Chicago. Had to struggle just to make it in the ghetto. Had a one-room apartment with one window. Now I'm thinking, how you made it without much dough? My mom had to work at the grocery store, but my daddy got a break. Now to Florida we go. The sun shining in when we open the door. We got white sandy beaches living right on the shore. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all the darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all the darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. Things are getting harder as I get older. The days are getting short and the nights getting colder. I cover up with my blanket, not just for the warmth. I keep it as a shield to keep me safe from the storm. Not just the rain outside, but from the tears I cry. I keep it hovering over me till my pain subside. But still my tears pile high. I can't even lie. Looking for someone to throw me a lifesaver. I'm looking up above because he's my savior. But it's hard to look ahead when you've been through so much, yo. There's a light shining at the end of the tunnel. Holding there and being where there's hope for tomorrow. Happiness is on its way. It can't always be sorrow. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all that darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all that darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. Things won't always go right, but you gotta be strong, gotta keep up the fight. Things in life will try to knock you down. If you conquer them all, you receive your crown. Just don't give up and don't give in. Just dust yourself off. You can rise again and again and again and again. Yeah. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all that darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. You gotta struggle just to make it through, 'cause there's no gain without no pain. Leave all that darkness behind you, and when the way is clear, you can breathe again. Yes, your girl Cadillac.
It's your girl Cadillac.